Hey everybody, how's it going? I figured since it was a little bit of a lull here with any lives or anything going on, jump on and chit chat with you guys. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday and a good weekend. I just figured I'd play around and just go through chat with you guys. And I do have one response to throw out there, but it'll be short and sweet. I don't have any clips or anything I want to do tonight. Hey Scott and Psycho Granny and Gigi and Phoebe and Maui and Kyle and Rose Petal. Glad you guys are all here. Maui, don't be chugging that eggnog. Got to have you through to the end here. Corn, what's going on? Okay, Eric. Yeah, our weekend was kind of screwed up. Our football that we watched was yesterday, so it kind of drained the whole thing. And then, of course, where I'm at, we kind of root for the Packers, and that didn't work out so well. So, but they're still not out of it. And I don't know if you guys know this or not. Lisa is a massive Bears fan. Born and raised in Philly, but born and raised a Bears fan. So she's pretty happy. Muggsy, how you doing? Auntie, glad you could stop in. Just got home just in time to listen, having a slow night by myself. Good for you. Nothing wrong with a slow night by ourselves. Abita, how's it going? Now you can have a slow night with all of us too, Auntie. That's all I'm looking for, is just hanging out and seeing what's happening. Yeah, I saw that you were happy about the Bears winning too today. It's been fun with Lisa. She's pretty happy and pretty excited for him. It's been a long time, and the Packers have been their ruin for a lot of years. So it was nice. It was actually nice to see it turn the other way. It was crazy. If anybody didn't see the ending of it, the last 5 minutes of the game is worth watching. But they may end up seeing each other again in the playoffs. So it's hard to say, depending on what the scheduling is and what the seedings are. But it could come down to it at some point. Hey, Brett. And Scott, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the help. I don't know. Were you in here the other night when I talked about, how the modding works for me? Scott, I don't know. I don't remember if you're here or not. I could just I can give you a quick rundown, and everybody, anybody that wasn't here before will hear it now too. I know there's always going to be some people listening that aren't here, so they can hear it too. Anybody that comes in here is welcome, until they're not. Basically, if you read the banner that's running across there, that's pretty much how I look at it. Come in, you want to talk, you want to argue with facts, you want to argue, anything within reason, without being crude and vile and everything else. They're welcome to do it, but with that wrench, just don't hesitate. If somebody comes in, with the talking point lies and that type of stuff, you've got full authority for me to just boot their ass out, and don't even hesitate. You don't have to ask, you don't have to wait, nothing. So I like to keep it real and, go from there. And we can all have a pretty good time doing that. So, um, I do the response that I have is actually pretty to the point. The other day, I did a little bit of calling out on people that were challenging me for receipts. Jim Pubes made some errors in his speech and his channel, so I called him out on it and I provided the receipts to him, and he definitely did not. He did not play the information for his chat, which I kind of called that. Didn't think he was going to, and he didn't. But what he did say kind of caught me off guard a little bit, because he says that I'm intimidating witnesses, intimidating potential witnesses or witnesses. He said one of the two, and he referenced himself, and then my comment that I made that Sunshine, very possibly sent stuff to the DA, and that's pretty much all I said about it, other than the fact that it was hypocritical the way they were acting, and they were all butthurt about people's information and what have you, and then they turn around and do the same thing. And I noticed that he didn't add much commentary to the things that I just had him dead to rights on. But I guess it takes a man to do that type of thing, so I didn't really expect it to happen. But the one thing I do want to throw out as far as a response to him is he considers himself and anybody else in his chat as a potential witness in any of Scott's cases or otherwise. But what he did is he threw down a warning to me about intimidating witnesses, and he threw out a warning specifically that I should shut my mouth and I shouldn't be talking about anybody like that. And it just immediately struck me as odd that he would say that, because I'm thinking, okay, Chin Pubes and anybody in his chat, compared to me, who would be more apt to be a potential witness in any of Scott's cases in that situation? And I thought, did he just warn me? Is he intimidating a witness? Is he intimidating a potential witness? And should I jump up and down and scream and holler with a little weird voice and, tape some, fuzzy hair to my chin and threaten him with legal action? Probably not. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick, just to give him an answer to his stupidity. So that's pretty much all I've got as far as response and rants and everything else. I'm really, really going easy on it. I just rather just sit here and talk. And I see that Cracky wants to come in and play. He was really butthurt the other day when after he was in here and he got somebody kicked him out. I don't know who it was. It wasn't me. I didn't block anybody or anything like that. One of the mods did, and that's fine, as it should have been. But his response to that was he was going to block everybody in his chat. That wasn't his regulars. He was blocking everybody because I blocked them. That was going to be the retaliation. Everybody was going to be hurt by that. It's like, all right, Cracky, just have at it. And I will say, he has some weird bear that he did. He dipped in some kind of like cream colored liquid. I don't know what it was. I think it was glue, but I'm not sure. It just had a lot of drippage going on. And then he wrote my name on it. And I guess I have to give him a little bit of kudos here, because he actually wrote it backwards so you could actually see what the name was. It looks like it says David 8 instead of David B, but that's pretty close. So Got to give him a little credit when credit's due, I guess. But anyhow, somebody said he lost another channel today. I don't know. I wasn't watching any of it, but my heart goes out to him if he lost another channel. He's probably got 20 more to jump on, besides that one. So not a big deal. Man, E for effort, no doubt. I'm just not sure how long it took him to do that. David 8. Maybe I should change my name to David 8. That'd be fun. Constant reminder of the stupidity. Well, Ms. Moss blocked me, not lying. Why should I? Like I care. Yeah, right, Judy. If you get blocked, you get blocked. It's not a big deal. The funny part about all these different channels blocking all of us is they have to realize that, first of all, from DOA on down, everybody associated with them, that's their content. Hey, K2, what's happening? Good to see you. But we're all their content, and specifically, of course, Scott. I mean, they would have no life. They would have no oxygen whatsoever if they didn't put his name in a title or talk for hours about that he has a hair out of place, or he looked left when he should have looked right, or how dare you go to a store and try to buy something without asking the owner before you put it on their house, or I mean, it's nuts. But they block us when we're their content. I mean, I've proven it time and time and time again. I've been in Chin Pube's channel, and it rocks when I go in there. It gets everybody cranked up. Everybody participates, makes numbers. Cracky, same thing. Come on, dude. I know you know it. Makes you smile. It warms my heart to know that we have that much impact on you guys without doing a fucking thing. But yeah, what do you do, right? I mean, they really don't have anything else. They haven't shown any of us, at least to my knowledge, any other kind of content that's worth going in there and listening to, or talking about, or Ollie Dumner. Are you concerned that DOA is preparing to represent himself in court by watching YouTube videos? No, I'm not. Because that's kind of a misstatement. What makes you think that he's going into court, preparing for court by watching YouTube videos? Where's that come from? Anything to back that up, or am I missing something there? I know he's watched some YouTube videos, no doubt about that. A lot of us have. But you're saying that like that's what he's basing his whole defense on, his whole experience on. So if you want to, that he is learning about objections by watching YouTube. I'm not worried about that at all. Are you worried about that? And who are you? I've never seen that name before. Why don't you use your real name? And then we can really talk. That way I'll know more about how to respond. Your statement is based on his own words that you cherry picked to make a comment in this chat. Is a much more accurate statement. And what's wrong with watching stuff on YouTube? You're on YouTube listening to me right now. Is that wrong of you to be doing that? Or do you have the volume off so you can't hear what I say to you? You can call me Ollie. That's my name. Where have you been, Ollie? I'll call you Ollie. I don't care about that. I'm just curious. You have concerns about, court cases, and you're bringing it into my chat now. I have no problem talking. I have no problem debating back and forth. I guess my question to you is, why are you concerned about him watching YouTube videos? What's your concern about that? Is that something I should pass on to him? Should I give him a call and give him a heads up, tell him he's going down the wrong path by watching YouTube videos to educate himself on things? I don't think he's ever claimed that he's trying to get a law license by watching YouTube videos or anything, stupid like that. He wouldn't say that. So yeah, I was thinking that too, Rose Petal and Psycho Granny, but I figured I'd let him throw it out there. My point is that people go to law school and take the bar exam in preparation to be a lawyer. I'm not going to argue with that at all. They do every day in every state in the country. There are people paying a lot of money to become lawyers and go represent people in court. 100%. But here, you want to know a secret, Ollie? Those people watch YouTube videos too. Believe it or not, there's a lot of real life stuff that you can get out of those videos. And see, he's not learning this stuff to represent someone else, that someone else pays him a lot of money to put their future in his hands. He's doing this for himself. And the more he knows, the more he learns. I'm more concerned that DOA is making a very big mistake by representing himself in court, especially when he raised enough money to pay an attorney. Okay, well, you're still making a lot of comments here that are a lot of talking points on the hate train. So are you part of the hate train? Or are you not part of the hate train? Are you getting sucked in by the talking points, or what's happened with that? Because you don't know how much money he raised total or earned, or what he spent it on, or how much an attorney would cost for him to go through all this stuff. So why are you concerned about it? I mean, is DOA your friend? He fired his last attorney because he wanted a speedy trial, but now DOA no longer wants a speedy trial. It would be in DOA's best interest to hire an attorney. Now, that might be true. And how do you know that he hasn't? How do you know that he doesn't have 3 attorneys working for him? You don't know that stuff. You're making a lot of assumptions here. And I get your concern. I'd still like to know exactly who you are. If you want to just say it in chat so everybody can quit guessing who you are or assuming who you are. And if they're right, I'm just curious as to why it's such a concern to you, Ollie. I mean, does it impact your life in any way that he's representing himself? Does it help you or hurt you in your daily life to have that happen for DOA? I'm not sure that I could put those two things together, but if that's the case, educate me. Tell me how that works. Yeah, absolutely, Muggsy. Hell yeah. DOA could have a legal team as large as Vaughn's. He might not have 2 legal teams like Vaughn, but he could have a big legal team. Who's to say he's not? I base my knowledge on DOA's own words. No, you don't. You're basing your knowledge on your interpretation of his words, and only some of his words, not all of his words. So you're losing context in your, and it's apparent to me in your questions and comments here that you're not grasping the context that's has to be applied in order for this to make sense, or in order for you to make sense. Because like I said, the first bit of context is, why does it matter to you? Why is it so important? Why are you so concerned? He said many times that he doesn't have an attorney. Am I wrong? No, of course he said that many times, because there's been many times he's talked where he didn't have an attorney. There's also been many times when he has had an attorney and he said, yeah, I've got an attorney. I just talked to him. Oh, hold on, guys. That's my attorney. I'll be right back. Does he have a lawyer? Ask DOA. I don't know right now what he's doing. He's been working on a house, so I'm not sure. And I've been pretty busy the last probably 3 weeks with personal stuff. So I'm not up to speed on everything. Does he have a lawyer? Does he not have a lawyer? Seems like a simple question to me. Well, fucking ask him, Ollie. You apparently, because you're so concerned, you've got to be close to him. I'm going to guess you have his contact information, right? So ask him. He'll answer that. I'm sure he will. He's not going to lie to you. Why would he lie about that? I mean, seriously. What does he gain or lose from lying? Nothing. And if you're close enough that you have valid concerns that you want to share with him, you should be sharing it with him, not with me. Okay, I'll call him now. Be right back. All right, let me know what he says. That'd be interesting. I'm sure he'll appreciate your concern. Is Hollywood finding her back? Oh, that's funny. West Vintage, you're a trip, dude. That's very possible. It could be Ollie. I mean, Stranger Things, right? Back name Ollie. Big back name Ollie. Yeah, Abita, that's my question. Why does it matter to you? And are you involved in his case on a personal level? I'm going to guess I know the answer to that, but I'm not going to assume the answer to that. Maybe it's somebody I don't know. Maybe he has a high school buddy or a family member that's named Ollie Drummer or Ollie Dummer. Cracky, are you paying attention to this? I hope you are. This is how you interact with people. This is how you have a rapport with somebody instead of just coming up with like childish names and horrible raps and stuff like that. You'd get a lot further along in life if you just learned to interact with people as an adult instead of trying to act like the devil himself and all that. Speaking of which, Scott, that that short is amazing. Absolutely love it. I'm sure Ollie isn't a concerned troll of any sort and asking all these questions in complete good faith. Yeah, absolutely, Bugsy. That's what I can't put that on somebody without knowing for sure that they're a dumbass. I just won't go there. I give everybody a chance to bury themselves, and if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. If they finally come out and say, "Oh, and by the way, this is who I am," we've already made progress. Hey, Blues Lady, good to see you. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope it's not 95 degrees down there. Yeah, Britt, Ollie does seem worried. And, I've had a lot of communications with a lot of people that consider DOA a friend or somebody they're in favor of, and I know there are questions and concerns and positions that people take, and that's all well and fine. Everybody should have that right and that ability to think for themselves and be concerned in the way they want to be concerned and at the level they want to be concerned. But the generic names in this community and this whole YouTube streets thing, they try to have a whole lot more impact on things outside of YouTube than they actually deserve to have. But like I said, I have no problem going through questions and answers like this because it usually results in something beneficial to somebody. Whether it's me or the chat or Ollie, somebody's going to learn something out of it in the end. Hard to say what it is in the beginning, but and like the banner says, let's debate if you know how. Problem is a lot of people don't know how to debate. They really don't. I wish more people did. Not you guys, because I really don't want to debate you guys. I don't think there's any need to debate you guys most of the time because we're pretty clear-minded and deal with the truth and facts and what actually happened in the world and in our world instead of what we wish would happen or thought would happen or somebody told us happened. So the narratives being spread are false. It's wild to watch and also entertaining to laugh at, except that it's at DOE's expense. Yeah, Auntie, you know what? I think, yeah, I agree with you. Um, but here's the thing I'll say. I don't know. There's some of it, yes, that is at his expense. There's no doubt about it. This stuff is a mind fuck. I don't care how you look at it, and the fact that he's able to handle that is just, it's insane that he's able to handle it the way he has, at the level that it comes at him. But at the same time, just like I talked about with Cracky, the things he says, and Chin Pubes, and some of the others, some of the chatters, Boston, another great example of just missing the mark. The things they say on here, I don't know if there's a better way to say it other than it impacts our lives, our personal lives, 0%. It just doesn't. They can say all the dumb shit they want to. They can be as vile and try to be hurtful and insulting and all that stuff. And they got to remember that they're, in these situations, they're dealing with adults that have learned a whole lot of life lessons on how to handle that stuff. I haven't been bothered by words since I was in probably, I don't know, third or fourth grade, second or third grade, something like that. Sticks and stones. We all learn that. I just, I wish the people that are trying to throw them around in a virtual world would remember it, but they don't. -2 in southern Alberta. We're at 19 now, so we got a heat wave coming though. We've got the next 4 or 5 days. We're above freezing for our highs during the day, and a couple of nights I think are actually not supposed to go below freezing. So I said a week or two ago that we're definitely going to have a white Christmas, and now I'm not sure if that's going to happen, because I'm pretty sure over the next couple of days the snow is going to get melted away. And I don't know if there's any new in the forecast or not, but you got to love those minus temperatures, right, Muggsy? Until you experience that, it's an amazing thing. Because when you walk outside and it's 33 degrees, it feels a certain way. But if it drops down to 30 or 31 degrees below that 32 freezing point, you can feel it. And then you don't really feel anything else until you hit 0 or below 0. Then it feels very different again. It starts freezing stuff up that you just didn't know could freeze. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but ongoing unrelenting errors is that aren't true, and a constant battle. Do I defend or react? That's his experience. Yeah, 100%. I am not going to argue with that at all, Anthony. That's all true. But like I said, everybody just needs to understand that part of it is shielded off pretty well. And and another thing too, and this is where I'll throw this out to this chat right now. The people that I'm seeing in here, there are a lot of people in here that are hardcore support for that guy. When we sense that he needs to take his mind off of shit for a little while, we all kind of jump in and help him do that. And I appreciate that when I see it happening immensely. I really do. Just because it's the whole good versus evil thing, and truth, and the fact that truth does win. Doesn't mean it does it on its own. A lot of times we got to help along, and it's a pretty amazing thing to watch it happen in real time. But where'd Ollie go? Is he still on the phone with Scott? I should call Scott right now and find out if he's on the phone with Ollie. That'd be fun. Hey, another thing too, real quick. I just want to let everybody know that if they're not aware already, I'm sure most of you are, but keep Sticker in your thoughts and her family. Um, they they could use a little help. So not going to get into a whole lot more on that, but I just think it's a good thing too. You know, community can be pretty amazing sometimes, and there are certain times, just like we talk about with stuff that DOA is going through. Um, this community stands up and stands strong with that, and I think with Sticker right now, be a be a good thing to do that. If I thought for a second he'd answer, because I don't know if he's available or not, but if I thought he would answer, I'd put it on speakerphone and call him just to see if Ollie's there. And DOA, just by chance, if you're listening right now, give us a sign that you are or aren't talking to Ollie. I would love to have a little verification on that, but we'll figure it out one way or another in the end. I could have Lisa call him because he always answers when Lisa calls. Because sometimes that turns into a new car or stuff like that. West Vintage, yeah, just they got some family stuff going on, and some good thoughts and candles and things like that would certainly help. I did speak with Scotty. He confirmed, although he does have over 10,000 held by someone else, he does not have an attorney at this time. There you go. See how easy that was? I'm not sure why I should believe you on that, but I'll run with it. You're all set now. Is there anything else that we can help you with to put your mind at ease? I mean, you're welcome to stay here. I have no problem. I mean, you've been cool, Ollie. I think you could find a place here at some point and just really have fun and be part of the thing. And that's up to you. I mean, naturally, when we see a name in here we're not familiar with, there's a lot of times people are just going to give you shit just because new kid on the block type of thing. I expressed my concerns to Scotty. He hung up on me. Well, that sucks for you, Ollie. I don't know that Scott's one that really hangs up on a lot of people. I know he's hung up on some people, but I don't know that that kind of question or concern would make him hang up. Sure there wasn't anything else involved in what you said or had to say or where you were coming from? Or I mean, did he say anything before he hung up? Like, it's none of your fucking business, or thanks for the concern, see you later? Be interesting to know. That's, of course, if it happened, but sounds like Ollie just wants to be seen as a liar without integrity. God damn. K2, how many people in this community are like that? I mean, how many people could we label that just off the top of your head? Just, quick number. I know what number comes up in my head real quick when I think of that, but yeah, absolutely bullshit. I agree, Scott. I don't know if I'm trying to remember if he's ever hung up on me before. I really don't know. I don't think so. We've had a few somewhat tense conversations. Yeah, I agree. K2. Great indicator to not take a word they say seriously. I really don't. I'll be back in a few minutes. I need to help my wife put the kiddos to bed. All right, Ollie. Hope that all works out well for you. you really ought to let us know who you are though when you come back. Just give that some thought. So just to put the suspicions aside. Yeah, Auntie, isn't it right? I agree 100%. Pointer outer extraordinaire. DOA would never just hang up on someone who he gives his number to, in my opinion. Yeah, it's possible. But then again, you never know. He might. Sometimes it would be warranted. I mean, even friends and different people, say some stuff sometimes that you just don't want to listen to or don't want to hear about, or that you can know they're bullshitting or otherwise. A good hang up, it's not as effective now as it used to be decades ago when you could really slam the phone down, but still gets the point across. Stickers doesn't bloom prayers. What else can we do? Not even sure what to say on that, Juror 13. Do what's right for you. If you want to send something somebody's way in a good way, you'll find a way to do it. And if it lands, it lands. That's a good thing. It's always worth the effort. If he was a real friend, he would know DOA hates worry and concern for him. Yeah, that's true. He doesn't insult it. He doesn't attack that, but he doesn't like that part of being in that spotlight. There's no doubt about that. Does she like avocados? I don't know. Jer 13, you know what? I would imagine a really nice box of avocados might brighten her day. I mean, maybe send some fresh tomatoes and some onion and stuff, and maybe a nice case of chips or something to go with it. Make a little guac or something out of it, or you know, some nice toast. That might just be the way to go. I mean, avocados are always a winner. Did Ollie call with a Fisher Price phone? Judy? Damn it. You put just too many you put too many images in my head. Woman, I gotta tell you. You really do. Now see that kind of phone call I think Scott would have a ball with. Somebody called him on a Fisher Price phone, especially if it was on one of those FaceTime things. That'd be awesome. That'd be a video waiting to happen. Yeah, I don't know if Ollie's Ollie. I'll say it that way. I'm not sure if Ollie's really capable of that type of communication, discussion, dialect, whatever you want to call it. So what else is new besides Ollie coming in here? Anything that jumps out at you, or any holiday stuff that I'm missing? Been seeing a lot of weird holiday stuff online. I know that some people's version of what's cool to do on Christmas or with family that way is just nuts. Hey, shitbag, how's it going? Good to see you. Definitely big hugs out there. Yeah, Nanya, I would love to see. I would love to see the that phone thing happen. I hear Red's fundraiser is going. Yeah, I heard that too, Muggsy. I didn't hear actually an end number or where that ended up, but it was a astounding success. All right, it was. I don't even want to say this out loud, but I don't know who Rougarou is. Should I? Should I even ask? I'm an old guy, remember, so can't handle some of this new agey stuff. I'm sorry you're set shitbag. That's tough to hear. Lisa and I are doing well. Just kind of bearing down for winter, making its way in here. Going to have quiet holidays. Not going to be doing much. Just relaxing. I mean, we're gonna have quiet holidays because that's what we choose to do because it's easier for us and it's comfortable for us. It's not because I hate most of my family and think they're weird or anything, like somebody else I know. But we have a 3-year-old grandson, so anything associated with Christmas or otherwise is a pretty good time. Yeah, Petty, you don't have to point that out. I think everybody already knows at least it's the brains of the operation. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of her for being that. So it's a Louisiana swamp monster. Any anyone we know? I can only imagine what it looks like. They raised 400 tonight. How much of that do we believe, Blues Lady? Werewolf-like creature from Louisiana Cajun. Okay. All right, now that definition of Ruger, that's if that's how you say it, that's everybody needs to see Scott Short. And Scott, you can throw the link in for your short in there if you want, and people can verify that at least one of those transitional characters is indeed the Louisiana swamp monster. Yeah, I played that short at least 10 times right in a row. It was just perfect. It is the correct French term for werewolf. I'm not even going to guess on how that's actually pronounced, Muggsy. I know better. Yeah, I was going to say all things considered, blues. That's probably a good word for it. Pitiful. Sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't. Lougarou is close. Rougarou. Uh-oh. Here I am pronouncing words on a YouTube stream. Shame on me. But I appreciate that. Yeah, that Google Street View thing was hilarious too. Listening while I drive. MD Media. Matt, how's it going? Thanks for listening while you drive. I appreciate that. I wasn't able to get in on your stream, but I saw a lot of your Christmas light stuff, so I appreciate you going out and doing that. There's a lot of us that don't have. I mean, we'd have to drive a long way to be able to see lights the way you've done it. And Scott's done it, and it's pretty nice to be able to sit back and relax and see what people are doing with their Christmas lights and stuff. The Christmas light tours are always pretty entertaining too. So I appreciate that a lot. Just don't read the chat while you're driving, man. Don't do that. Unless you're at a complete and full stop at a red light or a stop sign. Because Lord knows we don't want to have anybody set off the danger anybody presents. And yeah, I'm going to make a joke out of it, even though it's not a joking thing. Just because all you haters are so ridiculous about how you present it, we're just going to respond with ridiculousness. It's the only thing we can do. Well, Judy, I'm not even going to read. I don't even know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know that I want to know, but I can only imagine. Well, congratulations, Dastardly. That is good news. That's cool to hear. All right, Judy. That's fair enough. I do not need to know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's cool. Actually, it is exciting. It's really that's cool to hear about. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you put a comment up.
How did I do that? I don't even know. Oh, I know how I did that. Lisa's just over here cheering. Yeah, you put a comment up. So I didn't even know I did it. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to figure out how to get it off of there, though. Oh, yeah. Look at me. I'm still getting the hang of the whole laptop stuff.
Oh, it's on now.
Yeah, absolutely. Lisa, it's on now. It is. I could put comments up there. Maureen, I've seen a lot of people in my career in YouTube, but Scott is one of a kind and a super guy. Yeah, he is a unique individual when it comes to that stuff. David B., do you think it was okay the way DOA spoke about Rika's autism, especially when a handful of his supporters are also autistic? Michelle, what specific comment are you talking about? Or just him speaking out about it in general, like he shouldn't speak about it in general or otherwise? I don't understand what the point of your question is. Well, I understand the point of your question. I just don't understand the specifics of your question. And what he says about Rika, autism or otherwise, what does it matter whether a handful of his supporters are also autistic? My nephew is autistic, and not once when in the last few days we've been talking about autism, except for when I brought it up, did it matter in the conversation. So what particular part of the comments or what he spoke about do you have a problem with? Well, I got to tell you, it's this type of thing, petty, clear you don't know DOA at all. I mean, they all know of him, but a whole lot of people just don't know him. They haven't taken the time. They jumped on a bandwagon or a hate train, as it's known now, that had a certain tilt about DOA. And a lot of these people didn't give themselves enough fucking time to even get to know who the guy is. They take a lot of stuff that he says out of context. No worries, David. I will document that you are okay with it. No other details needed. Well, goddamn, Michelle, I'm glad you're settled, with that whole thing, and that's the assumption you make, and that's more power to you. I guess I would just suggest next time you come in here and ask a question, be a little more specific about it so people can give a little more specific answer and know what the hell you're talking about. If you want to document shit for yourself that I'm with or without something or against or otherwise, have at it. You're not hurting me or hurting my feelings at all, but document away. Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's the corn. I agree 100%, and that's kind of the way I feel about it. And I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but it doesn't make us special and cannot be a crutch. It can be a challenge for the person, but it sure as hell isn't a challenge for me. I mean, I just, I've got a nephew with autism, and he doesn't like to be touched. I've never hugged him. He's 30 years old, and I've never hugged him because he doesn't like to be touched. And I'm okay with that, and so is he. Because, he put it out there. We get it. We respect it, and we move on. And he sure as hell has never said anything about that I'm a shitty human being because I've never hugged him. So, it makes sense. I feel like DOA could have been more sensitive to Rika and her autism. Well, that's great, Michelle, and that's fine. But you know what? Did you hear what Rika had to say about him? The whole piece of shit thing and, all of the above. Did you listen to both sides of that whole interaction? It doesn't sound like you did, because otherwise you might have something more to say about this than just what you have. See, that's the thing. It doesn't make sense to me when people have such strong opinions and are so quick to judge people based on a one-sided conversation or a one-sided analysis of a conversation, or the ability to remove the context from anything. He turned on her. Who turned on who? He's never said if we disagree, we should leave, or if we don't agree, we should leave. Seems he's welcome to say anything. Yeah. Again, the talking point stuff. People come in here and they want to ask questions and present some type of, if they have a real concern or question in their mind, I guarantee there's lots of people in here, including myself, that would entertain questions and try to help somebody understand something if they're sincere about it. But it doesn't take long for that shit to turn into, oh, yeah, this is just another version of the talking point stuff. Yeah, Scott didn't turn on Rika. Again, talking point. It's a newly created talking point. Has nothing to do with Scott turning on Rika. Again, go back and listen to the whole fucking thing and don't tune out the context. He called her a liar when she had just got mixed up and explained it all to him, but then comes on and calls her a liar. But you know what? Research key, that's not true. What you just said, that's not true. You might want to reconsider your position on things if you're willing to come in and make statements like that are not true. that tells me that you don't have a grasp on everything that happened and what was said by both parties. And who said that? See, this is again great example. So Rika turned on him for no reason? Question mark. Um, how much of the conversation have you actually, or the story of the events, were you a party to? And I hope you say everything. Or did he say something that was hurtful? Let's not talk about what he said. How about we talk about what she said first and how she presented it? Oh, come on, I have too many times, too many people. Why can't you see it? Are you talking about with DOA and other people? I see it very clearly. I promise you. I see it very clearly. And I'm just going to put it out to you again. Go back and pay more attention to the whole situation, both sides. And don't come at it with a position of hate against one side or the other. And it might make more sense as to what the reality of it is and was. And if you're not capable of that, take your questions elsewhere. You're here to learn. Well, you might want to learn by not putting out twisted commentary and coming from a very clear position. David, are you set up? Hold on a second. No, that's not the one I wanted. What is going on? Here we go. I set up that you could invite these people onto your channel with ridiculous accusations. Let's see if they can see what they are willing to type. Oh, say what they're willing to type. Yeah, I'm pretty close to that. Dreamscape. I'm almost there. I gotta iron a couple things out with the links and stuff. I don't want to just throw links out there and make it more challenging for me to block all the hardcore stupidity, because I know there'll be stuff coming down the pike toward me because of some false accusations that were put out there and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm real close to doing that. But I can just tell you, most of them aren't going to come up, and they're not going to come up on a panel and say this stuff. I'm going by what I've watched and how both people act towards people in general. All right, you're going on your assumptions on a lot of assumptions. Research is key. You have an incomplete picture of the whole circumstance and who you're talking about. Oh, here we go. Here's another good one. It does seem like many of Scotty's relationships have crumbled in this community. Streets, Jessica, Pearl, Aaron, Dan, Leo. Jasper James, where are you from? Never seen you before either. What is the common thread? You tell me what the common thread is. I'd love to hear an answer to that. What is the common thread? This ought to be good. You know what? I have paid attention, but you can't deny that there are many, many people who have been upset and offended by Scott. I don't think you've paid enough attention, because see, when you're dealing with people, or when you're talking about people that he's dealing with, or in that situation that many of us have dealt with, not just him. Why do you phrase that they're offended by him, as opposed to, how about if any of those people offended him or any of us first? Do you ever think about that? Is that a possibility? You don't see the common denominator? No, I don't. Not as clearly as you do. I promise you. And there are people there are a lot of people in here that would be questioning that statement too. It's the same with Aaron. What about other people? He's upset, but there are still people that are ride or die. Ride or die is just a bullshit name to put on people, a label, which is nonsense, because there's a whole lot more to it than ride or die. There's just so much more to it than that. That's an easy way out. Research is key to say ride or die. because that tells me you're not recognizing reality. Because I don't think anybody in here, would seriously say I'm ride or die with really anyone. Do we have strong feelings on who we support and who we don't? Absolutely. But ride or die, that's so generic. Do better. I mean, here's the thing I'll pose to all you guys are coming here asking this. All this stuff you guys are putting in here about this kind of one-sided narrative you're trying to paint here. Why don't any of these people that feel this way, that feel they've been slighted by him or offended by him or otherwise, why don't they step forward and explain exactly what they're talking about? And also, why don't they explain how that correlates to joining with all these other people in this big force to try to put his ass in jail? Have you thought about it that way? Because you haven't heard that explained by any of them, at least not in an open forum. Jasper James, you're starting to make comments that you're not going to make in my chat. All right. Why do 99% of DOA's relationships end in terror and rage? They don't. The only ones left are Cheese, Sandra, and MD. It's only a matter of time for those three. I don't know who the fuck you are, but hey, Scott, have at it on that one. Start saying nonsense in here and making just clearly false claims. You're not going to stay. And that's a false claim. Plus, it's asinine. Do better. I mean, come on, trolls. And yeah, you come in here like this, guys, you're trolls. It's really, I mean, there's nothing more to it. You're not serious. I know that. Oh, research is key. 100%, Jasper. You were doing so well. Research is key. You were just like hugging that line of not going too far. But now, if you agree with Jasper 100%, you don't need to be here either, because it's nonsense. It's just a dead end statement with no argument behind it whatsoever. You couldn't support that argument if you tried. And you just look stupid by writing shit in here like that. And feel free to give them hell, chat. Just keep on going. Because I know where you guys are coming from. It's not just a one-sided thing. You are the king of one-sided narratives. Sure I am. Sure. Research is key. Still here. Or at least I'm behind on chat trying to read through some of this stuff. All right, trying to catch up. I'll say this to everybody here, that anyone that's listening, anyone that's still here, hasn't been kicked out or will be kicked out shortly or otherwise. I've said from the very beginning, again, on that banner on across there, it says very clearly, be a dick, I'll show you the door. We'll show you the door. What that means is if you come in here and make ridiculous, unsubstantiated claims that are geared toward myself or anyone else in this chat or DOA or anybody else, you're basically lying. You're putting lies out there. And I'm just not going to have it. Do you think that your view is one-sided? No, I don't think it's one-sided at all. Not at all. Because see, my life doesn't rotate around DOA. I came into this thing with good intentions, and I've explained why I was why I have an interest in this anti-cult type protesting. And on top of that, in addition to that, yeah, I've been, following Scott for a long time, and we get along well. I mean, it's a pretty public thing, but I'm sure as hell not one sided. I've gone through and I've had it out with people on both sides of this protesting thing. I've offered to work with people on the other side. I've offered to. I mean, hell, I'm trying to keep Kenny out of jail for God's sakes. Think about that. I mean, come on, that's not one sided. But the problem is when I go on a panel or I come on my channel now or in a chat and I say do better, pay attention, you guys get insulted and your ears turn off. Okay, example of lie. Said he was on phone with T for 3 hours. He was not. How do you know that? Research is key. Are you T? There's only one answer to this that works, so throw it out there. Are you T? Research is key. I mean, it's a reasonable question, right? Are you T? Because if you're not T, it doesn't make sense for you to say that. They think Scott's friends don't call him out at times. I get out of it anti-G and David at times because I want to hear Scott raise hell with these people, and I don't want any of it. Yeah, I get that shitbag. I mean, there are certain times where things get real fucked up and out of control and everything else. But the way I look at it is this has been going on so long and it's been so insanely enhanced by lies and misconceptions and just blatant fabricated stories and information that it's hard to be real clear with everybody all the time. And it's hard to keep ahead of it. Yeah, I get it, White Snake. Some of these people, if they're in here and they're being reasonable, like right now, I have no problem with any. Like I've said before, I have no problem with any of you guys kicking any of these people out. But research made a statement that Scott lied that he was on the phone with T for 3 hours. Now, the only fucking way that happens is if that's T. And I didn't see a response, so I'm going to assume that's not T. So therefore, the fact that Scott, quote unquote, lied about being on the phone with somebody else for 3 hours, unless you're that person, I don't want to hear it because how do you know? Unless you own the phone company. Dave is a personal friend with Scott. If you're looking for public criticism of Scott, perhaps try a different channel. I mean, I agree with that. There's no doubt that I'm not the one that's going to come in and start trashing DOA and the people that have been part of his protest community for the last couple of years. I'm not going to be the first one to do it. But people seem to think that it's bullshit that, when Scott and I both and others, Direwolf and Chi and everyone else that do, have, personal conversation with him, that we're all just simps and we all just straight up agree with them, all the time. It doesn't happen that way. Daniel DOA always claimed that he spent 2 days in the hospital with Liz Ferris. That's not true. Before I read anything else, that's not true. It was 5 days from the beginning. And yes, I know that for a fact because I was actually on the phone with him and Liz at that time. I'm very familiar with what happened there. But today, DOA said he spent 5 days in the hospital with Liz Ferris. Is DOA lying now, or was DOA lying then? DOA wasn't lying at all. Right now, as a matter of fact, by you putting this in here without fucking knowing, Daniel, you're the one that's lying right now. You're putting false information into this chat in a public forum, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I'm going to call you as the liar. It's simple as that, man. It's so easy. You know, don't say shit you don't know, and don't phrase it in a way where there's an ultimatum at the end. Is he lying now, or was he lying then? Neither one. He wasn't lying then. He wasn't lying now. So it must be you, Daniel. Do better, buddy. I have a feeling that I'm going to wear that statement out. Do better. As a matter of fact, Daniel, if you go back and watch some of the older videos, you'll see evidence that what all that was talked about. That you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's all. The information's out there. Go learn it. For the record, Lucas was young man helps. Scott helped the train rider with the dog. Yeah, I didn't see a comment about that, but yes, that's true. You know, I mean, here's the thing I want everybody to pay attention to that comes into this channel, into this chat. Please understand that the people that you're typically going to find here, myself included, we deal in truth, we deal in reality, we deal in the things that we know have happened and have taken place, not assumptions, not fantasy, not delusions of what we want something to be or not be. That's just not how things work in this group. That's why that's why the elite chat clicks and why it works, because we don't make shit up. You know, do we goof on people and say crazy shit at times? Absolutely, we do. And the reason we do is because all these others are so quick to just grab onto one word with no context whatsoever. You know, a great example. This stupid little audio clip that Cracky keeps playing over and over again about Kenny is an activist and he's got an RO. That sentence, that little phrase that he cut out and plays over and over again. If he were to play 10 seconds before and 10 seconds after, you'd hear the laughter. You'd hear him laughing his ass off because he was goofing on him. It wasn't because he was mad. And the whole damn hate train decided, oh, he said that. I heard it in Cracky's channel. He keeps playing it over and over again. And so now I obviously know for a fact that DOA was mad about that. And that's just fucking stupid. So this is what we're talking about. We don't go for stuff like that. And honestly, goofing on people, sometimes they just blatantly deserve it. You know, if you're going to be that gullible, you're going to get fed. That's all I'll say. You're going to get fed if you're that gullible, that hungry, that thirsty. Because you guys make it so easy. So, nice try, though, I guess. I don't know. It gets people going. I'm waiting for somebody to come in here with something solid. Because isn't it amazing, guys, how they just don't see it? They come in and they accusing me of being one-sided. Yeah, I'm his friend. I'm going to defend him. I have no problem saying that out loud. People know that. But if he does something stupid, I'm going to call him on that too. And I have. You know, we've had conversations that I'm not going to share on here, but we've had those conversations. Has it ever been anything major? No. but we've certainly had them. Yeah, the trolling is weak. There's no doubt. Well, when they come in unprepared, I mean, the one thing I can tell everybody on here, I'm no expert on it, but if you're going to troll, be prepared. Come in with something that can stick at least partially. You know, in order to have a good troll or good story, you have to have at least a part of it be true. And when you come in with just nothing, it's just not going to hit. It's not going to impact anybody. I mean, these people want me to answer all these questions all the time, and I say I'm not going to talk about that. It's none of your business. Oh, you don't want to say it because you know it's true. I never said that. And by you putting it out there like that, you look like a fucking idiot. Because I don't want to talk about it, that means it's true. Just like whoever it was before. Oh, I'm going to just make the assumption that you're okay with him making, harassing people about their autism. Well, fuck you. I'm not. No one's okay with that. But the fact that you come in and make that statement in public just proves how much of an idiot you are. Do better. Yeah, we can rate them, Petty Betty. I like that. Let's, maybe we do need to get a rating system going on here. Just 1 to 10, pretty simple. I like how the list of victims in the comment earlier listed Becky twice. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, she's worth it twice. I mean, she's that big of a victim. Come on, White Snake. You know that. And yeah, the fact that they're not trolls, they try to be trolls, but they're certainly no good at it. And then it just comes down to whoever it was that I just said. You're not making any point. You're just lying, and you're not bringing facts. You're bringing your opinion, and you're turning it into a blatant lie. There's a huge difference there. And I think it's amazing how many people, um, when it comes to that, as far as trolling and otherwise, it's amazing to me that so many people don't understand how good other people are at doing that. You know, it's it goes right over their head in seconds. Yeah, the red Mustang. That's a great example. I mean that turned into an amazing troll without even trying to make it an amazing troll. And then as soon as it turned into an amazing troll, it was super easy to put it right over the top. And again, how many weeks? Quite a while. I'll say something else too to you guys chat real quick, just while this is going on. I'm trying to keep up with chat, but I'm still trying to get used to this stupid scroll pad on this laptop. Oh wow, did I just close the whole thing? All right, can you guys hear me? don't know what happened. Well, it's weird. All right, so can you guys hear me now? I don't know what happened, but did something stupid. Yeah, I did that. I'm getting a bad echo on this end. I'm gonna leave it